Let's do this. Amazing audience, we are live with Charlie Guynn. It's a great pleasure to connect with you, Mr. Guynn. Thank you for being here. That's an interesting ring. Tell me, my friend, which of your talents, if you had to tell us, right, is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history?
I have no talent. I don't know why. I have no idea what community organization.
Yeah? Tell me more.
That's been my life for probably the last 40 years. More, a little bit more, 45 years.
Yeah, tell me more. I mean, community organization is a broad statement. What does that look like?
Well, I started very young, working with local community around my church, and then ultimately getting involved with St. John's Missionary Baptist, which was A.J. Brown's church, where Dr. King frequented. He was there about twice a month, generally, before he became very famous. We didn't know he was famous until now. And he taught me about organization, being compassionate about what we do in the community, and being understanding of the struggles that take place in those environments, mainly inner city. Very involved with the church itself, so on the side was also involved with the Christian movement at that time.
Yeah, that's intriguing. So you saw this guy, you spoke with this guy.
Who's that?
Dr. Martin Luther King.
About as close like we are right now.
Wow.
Sit at the table, eat dinner.
Yeah. So who did you learn the skill of listening from?
Probably from my father. My father and grandfather. They were great listeners.
Would you put listening as something you do only with your ears, or no? Tell me more, please.
You have to absorb it.
Yeah.
The hearing is more than the ears. You have to absorb it inside.
Yeah.
So that you get a full picture of what it is you are listening to.
It's beautiful, isn't it? The art of listening.
Yeah, the art. That's a good point. It is an art. It is an art. People think you hear. No, you have to absorb it.
Yeah, I love that. Never thought of that. You really need to absorb it. It's like you deciding to be open, like all of me deciding to be open to all of the world, but in a humble way.
And the thing is that most people do, but they're not listening. So it ends up being a big mistake. You make a mistake because you didn't really absorb. You heard it, but you didn't absorb it.
Why will you continue to be that person that is being or placing emphasis on listening?
Well, you have to now, especially nowadays, because there's so many diversions and so many lies. So you can pick out the lie by absorbing the listening part.
Yeah.
Because invariably in the conversation, it's going to be something that contradicts what you're saying.
Yeah.
And you have to find out whether that contradiction weighs heavily on what it is you're trying to do versus what you're not trying to do.
Wow. Where did you guys get this guy from? Wow. One of the things I speak about is the power of a conversation and what it can do. How have you seen a conversation impact your life?
Well, lots of conversations have, especially when they end up yielding something positive, something you can build on.
Yeah.
Conversation without conversation, there is no learning, and there's no compassion. You see, compassion comes when you listen and absorb, then you be compassionate about what it is you heard that makes you a better person.
Yeah. Technology is killing us when it comes to conversation.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's definitely helping to achieve more conversations if used properly, but it's not being used properly. That's my statement. Would you agree with that?
No, I think that's a good statement. One thing is, the technology allows things to move quicker, but to be quick and faster doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah.
You don't have a chance to absorb. You have to absorb. It takes time.
Yeah.
to absorb these things.
Yeah. All right. What is one thing you've done, or how can people reach out to you? Like if they're listening and they'd like to know more of what you do, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
I'm actually the executive director of Coffee Community Outreach and Financial Education.
So you and Joshua.
Oh yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
All right.
That's my brother over there. These two guys are my brothers.
Joshua is an interesting guy.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah, has a huge heart.
You gotta watch him when he plays chess with him.
Oh, really?
His right hand is not.
So, how does it make you feel to be that guy that is, consistent in what you're doing?
Well, there's a reward. I mean, you have to measure rewards different ways. I'm a great reward. By being involved with coffee, it allows me to approach the community in a different way, a very important way, but a different way.
Yeah.
You're absorbing, but you're also inputting new information or information that's not so new, but they're just hearing it for the first time, especially as it relates to finance. So being able to understand where they are and be able to impart the information at that level could make a huge correction in how any mistakes they may be making down the road by knowing how to handle finance.
Yeah, finance has impacted my life tremendously. Getting out of debt and was like the biggest thing I've ever done that still makes all of this possible, being out of debt. I can imagine thinking, I have this to pay for still, and doing what I do, or being able to absorb and listen, holistically. Some people can, but it doesn't work well for me.
Well, there's so much noise out there. When I say noise, distractions that cause you to deviate. It's one of the classes I was teaching this morning, social deviation. And how when you deviate, you're burning time, and we don't have very much of it.
Yeah.
You think we do, but we don't.
We don't.
So the whole idea of being intuitive about in the area that you have expertise in, and being able to share that to listeners who are absorbing, that's the reward. The reward is seeing that they are not going to deviate; they're going to stay on that trail to success.
Follow one course until success. Focus. Important, so important. All right, well, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me now invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water.
Oh, it's great. I love the Caribbean.
What is your earliest childhood memory?
Earliest? Well, that's a good one. First of all, I'm the oldest of 22.
22 what?
Children.
Welcome to Indiana.
Everyone in Indianapolis has lots of children.
Well, you get a lot.
No TVs?
No, well, my father was an engineer. And back in those days they called it electronic engineer. So he was around building televisions. I was around when color television first came out.
Right.
And he, for Thanksgiving, I guess that would be one of the first things I remember as a youngster. He said that he could put this television together before we were eating Thanksgiving meal. So that morning he was up early, all these parts were laid out on the floor. And he put it together, and we were watching. Well, most of the neighborhood didn't even have a television. It was color. So we were watching television.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was that.
How old were you?
Probably around 11.
Okay.
Maybe.
Do you remember anything before that? Like.
Yeah. How crowded we were. It was pretty crowded in the house.
22 is is an amount.
And just being real happy when. See, I always thought that it was normal for a woman to be pregnant.
Of course.
Because my mother was always pregnant.
Yeah.
She was so
the 22 was one woman.
It's 22. She had 22 kids.
Right.
There are 15 of us still surviving. So it's still a lot. So.
It's only because we're alive I'm not like really seeing things that I want to say. Like, what? Definitely boom. And he still gets time to build a TV.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. So why let's deal with the TV memory then. Why do you think that memory is so clear?
Well, because it was a luxury.
Yeah.
You know, we had very few luxuries. You were asking about, I think the earliest impact, I can't remember, I was very young. First time I ever tasted ice cream. First time I ever tasted ice cream was probably the most, I mean, it was like, wow, what is this?
Yeah.
You know, because my mother, my aunt, or my grandmother, they cooked in huge pots because there's so many of us. So
Yeah.
it's like, but very few. We got some cake every once in a while, but to have ice cream, matter of fact, we got it from Dairy Queen, who had just begun. Dairy Queen was just starting,
Yeah.
so everyone was going. They got these little certificates, you go and get. And I tasted the ice cream. That was the thing. I remember we're just sitting there,
Yeah.
and this marveling at this.
Yeah, this thing.
Yeah.
That's intriguing. Do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
Yeah, and indirectly, I think the joy, surprise. It was joy and surprise. It was different,
Yeah.
and it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind with that memory? Yeah, I could? All right.
I think you could. If you think about like hot like this, and we're out in little sharks and stuff, and my father had a big truck that he would take his TV sets around. He'd repair TV sets besides working at RCA. And we were in the back of the truck, and we got out to get to the Dairy Queen, and we were all sitting on the curb.
22 of you are
No, 15 of us.
15 that time. What I like about that memory is to see how you embark on community and putting things together so that everyone could have one view. If I had to connect it.
That would be true.
It's amazing, right?
Well, it's very important to me.
Now you're doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, even with coffee, with what you are doing in the community, you're taking all these parts, bringing them together so that they could have one view, an important view as well, where finances is concerned.
Right.
So that they too can then have ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Enjoy it, and the camaraderie that's involved,
Yeah.
the joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone was happy.
Yeah.
Very happy as a result of having a little ice cream cone.
Yeah. I love that. All right, if we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
In the jungle.
In the jungle.
In the mighty jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely are in the jungle working right now, right? I mean, hats off to you and Josh for what you're doing in the jungle, right? And then in that house, oh my gosh, it must have been a jungle. 22.
Yeah, well,
It's 15, sorry. Yeah.
But, my father was a strict disciplinarian. He was no Navy guy.
Okay.
And
Militant.
Very military. Loving, but very, very...
It was necessary, though.
He was, he was in charge.
Yeah.
Everything from your shoes had to be shined every night to the proper dress. I mean, we had this big, huge, old-fashioned ironing board, as big as this table, and you could not go outside the house unless you were properly, and your dress had to be proper.
Yeah.
So everything from your underwear to the shirt you wore had to be ironed.
That's good.
And he didn't want my mother to be involved. So each one of us had the task of ironing our own clothes, which was part of his order, And if you could visualize that all the shoes lined up by our bedroom, and it'd be inspection. These shoes didn't make the cut.
Well, that's good. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. Are you ready for this?
I don't know.
Have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
I would hope that my daughters, it's already passed. They're already doing high expectations. I had high expectations. They met those.
Yeah.
Now I'm working with my grandkids. I have 9 grandkids, And so I'm working real hard with them. And they're 9 boys, but there are 8 boys and one girl who lives in San Diego. But yeah, the whole idea of I'm a very, very, very religious-oriented individual. Not so much denomination, but the understanding the Supreme Being and your connection with that. So that's passed always.
Love it.
In the household, it's very important.
Are you married?
Yes.
Okay. How many children do you have?
I have 3.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
If I watch it, it's because I'm going to watch a documentary.
Alright, so like 3 hours a week is probably better.
About that. I don't do too much television.
What about screen time? The phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
The computer. Well, my partners would say quickly, it couldn't be the computer. I'm not. I'm strictly old school.
All right.
Write it down.
All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Ping, ping, ping. We got the unicorn. If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, what would you say that is?
What I believe I am, at least I think I'm a person, a man of integrity, strong beliefs, compassionate, and forgiving.
Love it. Can I add something?
Sure.
You're the man that makes sure people can get the ice cream.
As the oldest, it was always my responsibility to be the one who
shares. All right? I love it. All right, my friend. Well, I mean, before we go, sorry, did I hurt you?
No.
Okay, because I hurt my foot. Ouch. In closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
No, the importance of being engaged. Come out of your comfort zone and take on a task that will have a measurable impact on the people that you're with.
Yeah, love it. Amazing audience. Hey, you heard it live right here. Who did we have? Charlie Guynn. When I saw it first, I thought it was Guyana. You know, everybody does that. Yeah, so I made sure and look. Charlie Guynn, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-minute convos with Angel Jones. Boom.